Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Pastor Steve and my darling wife, Anna Marie, also known as
Ria. Hey, guys.
And we just got to keep our voices down here because we got major echoage.
Yes.
So we're kind of going raw here, but I just want to thank you so much for joining me on another episode on our podcast. And it is a joy and a privilege to be before you, and I hope that people are listening. It's been a little bit because we've had some things going on, and it's just been kind of like crazy, and COVID is semi-subsiding, but not necessarily, but there's a whole bunch of stuff going on there. So here we are, honey. Mm-hmm. We are moving past it now. And trying to get back to quote unquote normal, but it's not going to be normal.
Yeah.
And the thing I was thinking about today when I was looking at the news the other day about if you're keeping up with current events, there are these statues. They're of different people that in our American history that have been, they've been resurrected and have been in the country for a long time. And now all of a sudden, with George Floyd and everything, now all of a sudden there's this another movement that's going on trying to, or maybe it could be the same movement, I don't know, I don't want to get into it, but they're now trying to take down the statues because of what they stand for. And some of these guys were known to be slave owners and so forth. And with the whole Black Lives Matter movement and just this whole racial tension of what happened with George Floyd, which was absolutely terrible, there's two things I think about, sweetheart, and I'm going to turn it over to you in a second here. Mm-hmm. And with that, I think it's called Emmett Pettus Bridge. It's in Selma that had Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and a bunch of people marched with him over that bridge. Mm-hmm. And of course, there were military that were going to meet him. They said, "Don't do this," and of course, he did it, and people got hurt. And I think even people lost their lives that day. Mm. So here's what the debate has been, and if I got his name right, I know it's Pettus, that is the last name, but it's like Emmett. I think it's Emmett Pettus. Mm-hmm. If I got it wrong, well, just fact check me on that. But Emmett Pettus was apparently a Confederate soldier who was also a Grand Wizard in the KKK, and he was also in the government of Alabama.
Wow.
Okay. Some people argue that the name of the bridge should be changed because we've moved past that now and let's not honor this guy. Mm-hmm. And other people say let's keep the name because it reminds us of that day that Martin Luther King Jr. Marched. Yeah. So let's turn it into personal lives here. What is it, or what do you think your opinion is, honey, on when we move past things? Do we keep things around as a reminder, even though we've moved past it, of how we've moved past it? Or do you come more from the school of abolish it, get rid of it, smash it, and disintegrate it, and move forward? What do you think?
Well, I know one thing that you have helped me with over the years is, to kind of get rid of things, because I was embedded in my history to be a keeper, of all kinds of things, and I could be like a really bad pack rat, Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be considered a hoarder, but I definitely was a pack rat. I would just like keep. And now I'm just like, I can see that I'm definitely getting better with that, like just not wanting to have things all over the place, trying to, feel like it feels better when it, like less is best. So I'm just getting rid of things. So I think, getting rid of stuff, is a better thing. Is a whole better idea too.
Completely get rid of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it depends what it is too.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's like if you and I, no dark secret, we've both been married to previous people.
Yeah.
And
like those pictures gotta go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, like you have on your side of the ball, you have two children.
Kids, so yeah.
From that I've been blessed to be their stepfather, and there's moments that you've had that I'm sure weren't all bad, but it's like, obviously don't want to relive them with me in the picture, and the vice versa. I don't want to relive things with me and my ex-wife and say, oh, there were the days, it's like, what? So I agree with you on that. I personally look at the Bible and see how many times when there were moments where the kings or leaders were asked to get rid of, they felt in their heart they needed to get rid of these idols, if you would. They didn't just say, hey guys, let's throw them out.
Right.
Or let's put them over in this corner and just make it a memorial, like this is who we served. Descriptions that were said in the word were smashed, cut down, maybe even demolished.
Yeah.
There was a finality to it. Now, I'm not advocating that people go and start smashing all of our federal monuments. But I've heard both sides of the story, and there's people that are like, why are you hitting on our history? And the other people are like, let's get rid of history because it was so bad. In order for us to heal and move forward, this is a constant reminder. I see both sides of it.
Yeah.
I've also heard some extreme points of view where it's more of a bigger global new world order conspiracy theory mission where, to get rid of America's identity so we can usher in the world order. I've heard all that kind of stuff. But no matter where you are, when you're listening to this, what's your opinion of this? What do you think? Do you think it's smash it, get rid of it? Or is it, hey, I'm not doing it anymore, but this sits over here or that goes over there, or maybe we keep the pictures around and just keep it as a memorial. I'm personally in your camp, honey. I'd rather smash it, burn it, light it up, and be more dramatic about it.
Right away, my mind goes to just knowing. I think I can picture the movie, The Ten Commandments, right? So just knowing things in the Bible in Exodus that talks about, when Moses went up on the mountain to meet the Lord, right? And the Ten Commandments were birthed and everything. They were going nuts, They were going crazy down below, and then all of a sudden, just all this madness started to happen, and they were collecting all their gold jewelry and all that, and they erected a golden calf, and they were having orgies. It was crazy. It was nuts. It was stuff that like happens now. You know what I mean? And so it's not much different. Other than that, we have technology to add to, to what was then. But I definitely see it. I do see it as idols that we can keep. This mindset that we have to have this or that's got to stay or like it's like a stronghold to me, if that makes sense, that can get stuck there. Like this way of thinking that only God really can help us get out of that kind of mindset.
I agree. I think that's a great point of view. So I know in my own life, right now what we're doing, we've started we've been doing intermittent fasting. You've been doing it longer than I have. And ketogenic diet.
We tried, yeah.
And it's really been amazing, and our bodies are changing, our minds are changing, and it's really cool, and I can't wait to see
We're a month
even a couple months from now what that's going to look like.
We already feel amazing, don't we?
But we had to get rid of some
Yes.
foods that were hanging out. We still have some because our kids are technically still at home, but they're adults and
Yeah.
they're kind of going out and doing their own thing more.
Oh yeah.
And so eventually that whole thing will start to dissipate. So the bottom line is we kind of had to smash that and get rid of a lot of these things because it was like, well, we can't have that anymore. We're not going to have that. So we had to retool, if you would.
Right.
So I think when we let things hang out and let them be reminders, it depends on how you look at it. But be very careful, because if it just hangs out there might come a day where the enemy might tempt you in saying, you know, you haven't spent a lot of time with that anymore. Why don't you just do one thing? Why don't we just do one time with that, and then you could put it back in the closet?
Or
go ahead.
yeah, I'm sorry. Or I was just thinking, like, I had to hide a lot from you, honey, regarding food. Because I know that you would go a little bananas, okay?
Literally.
On some food.
Literally.
On some sugary stuff. So I know that I still have some stash. And you know what? I need to get rid of that.
You sound like a drug pusher, you know that?
Baby, I need to get rid of it.
You actually sound like a drug pusher. I still got a stash.
I'm thinking right now, I need to see if our kids want that, or if somebody else, would like it, or do I just get rid of it? Because do I even want to be the pusher, if you would, of that kind of substance in somebody else? Now they make the choice, like we made the choice to eat like garbage, for most of our lives.
Yeah.
Not garbage, but I mean, we didn't understand how damaging sugar and high carbohydrates are for our major organs and minds and,
right.
and everything else. And so I could easily, just like you said, I could easily go back to that cabinet and be like, oh wow, I know I got that dark chocolate in there. I could just go in there if I have a chocolate craving, and I can go have some. But the way I feel after a month being into it, honey,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that. Like, I don't have that taste. I don't have that appetite, that desire anymore. So all that, it's like this desire thing changes, and it can change in all kinds of aspects, no matter what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that amazing? So I need to get rid of that stuff that's in that container, in that cabinet,
because it
hiding
is
away from you. You don't know where I have it, but I know.
Oh, I did find it at one point.
No, this is a whole new spot. You have no idea.
She's the queen of stash. But it's kind of funny. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, you sound like a drug pusher. You really do.
Sorry.
But the bottom line is that it's kind of like just a reminder. We have reminders all day long that go on our phones or watches and everything else, but it's like just a reminder. And maybe it's time that you smash the things that have bound you, the things that you have had in your life for so long that don't need to be there anymore. And I believe God can help you with that. And by His power and His grace,
yes.
He definitely can. So on that note, I just want to thank you guys so much for joining us today, tonight, whenever you're listening to this. And I hope it is spoken to your heart in some way. Honey, I want to thank you as always for joining me.
My pleasure, love.
And wow, she sounded like she worked for Chick-fil-A. So,
they just don't say love.
Yeah, right. So we just want to say thanks again, and God bless you guys. And remember that John 3:16, there is hope. So we'll see you next time on the flip side for another edition of Your Turn.
Yeah, we hope this has encouraged you, and perhaps you will feel like you need to get rid of some things.
See ya.